Get your business launched with Space Coast Daily through spacecoastdaily.com, Space Coast Daily social media, in print with Space Coast Daily newspaper and the magazine, as well as email blasts and the mobile app, and also at Space Coast Daily events. You can reach new customers every day. Get launched with Space Coast Daily and take your business to new heights. Call 321-323-4460 today. Are you a business owner in Brevard County, or maybe you just signed a contract to buy that home, and the COVID-19 crisis has maybe given you pause to consider what you're doing? I'm Giles Malone with Space Coast Daily. I'd like to welcome you back to Space Coast Daily TV, and today we're with David Volk of the Volk Law Offices, who we're going to talk about what the COVID means to you as a business owner and possibly a contract you may have entered into. David, welcome to Space Coast Daily.
Thank you. Very nice to be here.
Thank you, sir. It's really a pleasure to have you. First of all, David, I've been looking at your law firm. 25 years, the Volk Law Offices have been in business in Brevard helping people. But I was really fascinated by your background with your family and your entrepreneurial spirit, right? I mean, your family was in strip mining, in real estate. Tell us about that.
Well, I didn't feel very lucky at the time when I was 12 years old, pushing a broom in a beer warehouse and loading and unloading beer trucks, everything that goes on in a distributorship. I didn't feel real lucky, but all these years later, those lessons I learned still help me.
Yeah.
My parents had parents who came from a hardworking culture. My parents were first generation American, and their parents worked so hard, came to America with nothing, worked extremely hard, and wanted to make a better life for their children. How do you make a better life for your children? You set a good example for them by hard work, and work, drum that into their heads. And my parents took those lessons and kept going. My parents were entrepreneurial. They were married for 54 years. And you get a lot of it by osmosis. You also get it by being woken up when you're 15 years old at midnight. Dave, wake up. We're going to go mine some coal.
That's amazing.
And it's December, and it's 12 degrees out.
Yeah, what part of the country was that in, David?
Morgantown, West Virginia. That's where West Virginia University is located. Okay.
Wow. That's something else. So a lawyer now, one of the preeminent law firms in the county, was involved in, pushing a broom at 12 in a beer factory. That gives you a work ethic and a determination, doesn't it?
I got to do so much neat stuff, including almost getting killed in 4 industrial accidents. One of the things we did, we built a mobile home park and put in sewer lines. And I'm in high school, and there were 2 times where I was working in a ditch. One time the ditch fell in. I was about 12 feet below grade level, and it was cold, and the ditch collapsed. Another time I was standing too close to the ditch, and the backhoe operators, boom, came swimming back towards me and stopped about this close to my face. I'm thinking, oh boy, I better be more careful.
Yeah.
I could give you a couple other examples, but it really crystallized your thinking about work and being in the moment and concentrating on what you're doing. I think a lot of people, when they work, their mind wanders. They're thinking, it's only 9:30 in the morning, where am I going to go have lunch? Well, you shouldn't be thinking about that. You should be thinking, I could get killed, figuratively speaking, if I don't get this job done today.
So those real life experiences gave you sort of a perspective on life from a business standpoint that has probably carried you, obviously, your law training and how you address and think about issues today.
Absolutely. And if you're a kid growing up around working grown-ups like I was, you observe so much. You see how people react, behave, how they work, what their work ethic is it good or bad? And that teaches you a lot. My dad was a genius at communicating with people because he was legitimately interested in them and their story. And if you want to be a great conversationalist, you should let the person you're talking to do most of the talking. And I would marvel at that as a little kid, watching my dad talk to someone, and he was legitimately interested. It wasn't a game. People will see through gamesmanship. He would ask people questions that were deep questions. He could get their life story in seemingly 5 minutes. And I learned so much from that if you want to be a good communicator, that means being a better listener. than a speaker.
Yeah, indeed. So now here we are, 25 years of serving Brevard with business, law, and so on. Tell us about the firm now. You've got some amazing people working for you, but what sort of legal work do you do for people?
We are primarily a commercial litigation firm. We help people with lawsuits that involve money or property. It can include employer rights, construction disputes, real estate disputes, contract disputes, non-compete agreement, trade secrets, confidentiality issues, fraud, anything that involves money or property or things blowing up, basically. We're expert at helping people with that. Importantly, too, we can draft the agreements that help people in those areas. And I think if you work from a litigator's perspective, somebody that tries cases or prepares cases for trial, you're going to understand the importance of every word in a contract. So when I'm drafting a contract, I'm working 10 times harder than when I'm sitting in court because I know how it can blow up. I think if you're the kind of guy that does nothing but sit and write contracts, you know, have that same perspective of risk management, risk avoidance when you're drafting the contract.
Sure. Well, we wanted to talk with David Volk today. Obviously, this COVID situation has really changed our lives dramatically, but I wanted just to anecdotally tell you how I came across Dave and his firm was we actually just recently purchased some property, 30 acres up in the north end of the county, and we sort of bought it fairly much in a hurry, and I wanted to get some legal advice, and I came across Volk Law, and actually ended up speaking with Michael DeJovny in your office, who I didn't give him any time, but he did an exceptional job. I was so impressed, and it was affordable, and he really made me feel comfortable.
Mike DeJovny is an amazing person, meticulous in detail, very intense, makes clients very comfortable. He communicates very well with them, and he's thorough to a fault. And it's really nice hearing you say that. I've been working with him for 17 years now, and I started Volk Law Offices a little bit over 25 years ago and spent almost 7.5 years at the largest law firm in the county, and became acquainted with him there. He's a few years younger than me. Was just impressed with his attention to detail, and your report on his customer service fills me with joy, but doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, he's very thorough, and he did a great job for us. And it was affordable too. When you're hiring a lawyer, you always worry about, oh gosh, is this going to cost me so much money? And so, but it was all explained very well, and I'm very impressed. So when we need more law work, you'll be hearing from us. But the rest of your team, very interesting. Barry Baker, he's a jet pilot, right? He handles your employee relations law.
Yes.
A jet pilot. That's not too bad.
And not just any jet. This guy flew the Harrier,
Yeah.
which is a
Harrier
very
jump
dangerous.
jet.
The Harrier
Yeah, that
jump
one.
jet, very
Yeah.
dangerous airplane, very unstable. It can take
Yeah.
off and land vertically, and it's so fun talking to him about that. He's your typical fighter pilot with his just calm demeanor, his thoroughness. You could, in your head when you're talking to him, you could hear him. You could imagine him ticking off a pilot's checklist.
Amazing. Yeah. In fact, the Harrier jump jet was built in my hometown in England, so pretty proud of that. That's a jet that goes up like this, right? Goes up and takes off vertically.
I've got to tell him about that.
Amazing.
Yes.
And then you have a Navy nuclear physics instructor as an attorney. It's amazing.
Brian Yarnell. Every time I think about these guys, I just shake my head and I say, I can't believe I get to work with guys that are this smart. Brian is someone who went to Harvard Law School. He served in the Navy as a nuclear physics instructor. Can't find a smarter guy or a nicer guy to talk to. We have a pretty simple rule in the office. You got to be really good at what you do, and you got to be a nice person.
Yeah,
So these people are all fun to talk with, have some degree of a sense of humor, and yet their attention to detail, their technical capability is something I marvel at.
I want to encourage you business owners out there, you know, you've just now probably opening up your business, a lot of you, restaurants, dentists, all you folks are getting back into business, but there's lots to consider, and we wanted to chat with David today about some of the things you should be considering as you open up your business, some of the issues you might face going down the road. But they've got an amazing team. You've got, of course, Michael David Jones with state and federal experience, right? Michael.
35 years.
Yeah.
I worked for one of the largest law firms in the country.
Insurance, you got Michael Sapone, and so on. A very interesting environmental specialist, Nicholas Giesler.
Giesler. We have two brothers that work with us doing a lot of our research and writing. They've worked on 22 United States Supreme Court cases. You know, somebody doing good research and writing, these guys, it's so much fun reading their work product.
Yeah.
And I don't have to steer them too much, but anytime I say, well, the draft's really good, but tweak this or that, it comes back beautiful.
Yeah. So, folks, if you're, like I said, a business owner, you might want to consider, getting some advice, some consultation. If you go to their website, there's really a well put together website with lots of free information there where you can go and check it out. And that is volklawoffices.com. So when we're done with this interview, you might want to check that out. But let's talk about how the COVID is possibly interrupting and affecting people's businesses, David. What are your first, as we come through this thing, what are your considerations? What are you seeing out there?
Well, what I'm feeling is great fear for business owners and employees about interruption of income. I don't think most people that don't own a business don't understand how close businesses are. So many businesses are to the margin where they're either making money or losing money, and they operate very close to the margin. Most business owners pay themselves last. I think we have a budding culture in America that resents people that have achieved something such as a business. It's absurd. Those people weren't lucky. They worked really hard, and if you're a business owner, ordinarily you're the guy that pays yourself last or the woman that pays yourself last, and it's a horribly difficult life to get a business off the ground. So my heart is aching for these people that are shut down, and I am so happy that they're being able to reopen. The restaurants slowly reopening and faster. Retail, I think the lockdown rules went a little too far, but Brevard County has done an amazing job of managing this pandemic. I think Brevard County has shown great wisdom, and I think your weekly shows with David Williams and Brian Lober are magnificent, getting the information out there. Here's what is going on a governmental level. Here's what we're doing. Here's why we are doing it. It's just beautiful, beautiful work. And if you're a business owner, that's what you need. You need information. Information helps you run a business. The CDC website, I was just up to my neck in it last night for an hour studying the issue about back to work with somebody that may have been exposed to COVID-19. The rules are not exactly clear. They have a great page on healthcare providers and coming back to work, but it's not crystal clear on just general employees. And so everybody that runs a business is going to have questions about, what do I do? We created 6 coronavirus web pages on our website right away as soon as I realized, oh my gosh, this is going to create horrible economic ramifications for people. They need information. First thing I did is went to a 35-page guide on coronavirus and the law to circulate to the attorneys and say, guys, you have to become instant experts on coronavirus, force majeure, impossibility of performance, employer rights law in terms of disabilities and how you manage employees, how you make it safe for employees. If you're a landlord, what do you have to do if you know somebody in your strip shopping center tested positive for coronavirus? The ramifications are massive. We could spend 20 hours talking about it.
Sure. Well, we're going to save you a lot of time. When you get done with this interview, you'll be able to go to that website and get a lot of those maybe initial questions answered, and then you'll be able to call David or one of these folks down there and get some help. We're going to take a quick break. We're talking with David Volk of Volk Law Offices. We've got some important information to bring you right after this short break. We'll be right back. Through spaceghostdaily.com and Space Ghost Daily's social media reach, hundreds of thousands of people stay informed every day. Through Space Ghost Daily's unmatched digital reach with the Space Ghost Daily's direct mail newspaper and Space Ghost Daily, the magazine in print, our loyal and engaged viewers enjoy free local news they can trust every day, and all at no charge thanks to our successful advertising clients. and also at our special events at Space Coast Daily Park in Vieira, where hundreds of thousands of people see our clients' advertisements. Call today to get your message seen on Space Coast Daily and take your business to new heights. Get launched with Space Coast Daily. Call 321-323-4460 today. There it is, Space Coast Daily, serving the Space Coast with free news. I want to encourage you to download that app so you can get your news very quickly right on your smart device. We're here with David Volk of the Volk Law Offices. Are you a business owner, or maybe you've entered into a contract or getting ready to, but maybe the COVID is maybe making you think in a new way. And so we're here with David. David, let's say that I have a really successful business. I was rolling along before COVID, it came along and I got shut down, right? And now in my brain, I'm looking to my insurance company to help me with business interruption, right? So do I have it? Do I don't have it? How do people address that?
We added 6 pages to our website, including a page on coronavirus and insurance law. And most people are now seeing commercials saying, sue your insurance company for denying your claim for business interruption insurance. Well, good luck. But the lawsuits have already started. Business interruption insurance is very narrow. You have to first make sure you're paying for it in your policy. You may not be, just because you have liability insurance on your property. You may not have paid for that type of coverage. And then the question becomes, if you have paid for business interruption insurance, will it cover you for damage you suffered as a result of the pandemic? Generally speaking, the answer is no. Here's why. Around 2006, we had the SARS outbreak, and the insurance companies had a heart attack and said this could destroy our business. And so they changed the policy language to do carve-outs for biological or virological agents as something that can be considered a covered event. So first order of business, you got to read your insurance policy and see what it says. Generally speaking, business interruption insurance requires some damage to property. We're seeing lawsuits. We found some of the complaints from cases around the country to refer to and to learn a little bit more about these legal theories. And they are saying the COVID virus causes damage to property because it gets on stuff and affects it. Interesting legal theory. But think through what you're going to encounter if you make this claim. The insurance companies are going to fight this like crazy. So you need somebody that's sharp as a tack, understanding what your insurance policy says and telling you whether there's coverage, and also how to go forward to make your insurance claim. Mm-hmm. Most people make an insurance claim before seeing a lawyer. It gets denied, and then they go see a lawyer.
Mm-hmm. So it's important to get that right advice. A perfect example of that, one of our friends, Sanjeev Patel, he's a dentist, brilliant dentist, world-renowned for his teaching of other dentists, completely shut down. His offices are damaged. He can't use them. He can't use his equipment. He can't invite people into his business. Let's say he didn't have business interruption insurance specifically excluded in that. Does he have any sort of a claim? I mean, it's a wide question. But
probably not. Mm-hmm. But you shouldn't assume you're covered. You shouldn't assume you're not covered based on anything I say. Of course, everything I'm saying here today is grossly mm-hmm. oversimplified. Mm-hmm. You're only going to get the right answers after a trained professional looks at your paperwork, mm-hmm. in this case an insurance policy, and tells you where you stand. Mm-hmm. You have to have the person that has the substantive knowledge, and they have to have access to the papers to tell you, you're covered under these circumstances. Did that happen to you?
Very, very interesting one, and it's really a unique situation for everyone out there. So get some good legal advice early before you make the claim. That seems to be the message. So business emergency response planning, that's an interesting one. How does a business prepare now to going back into business to protect themselves?
Well, here's my general philosophy for anybody that's entering into a contract, a deal. Think about what's the worst thing that can happen. And if you go to our website, I've created in that one of those pages a disaster preparedness and recovery plan. And it's magnificent. I borrowed some resources for another law firm through attribution. And we live in Hurricane Alley, basically. And so everybody in Brevard County should be thinking, how do I get ready to deal with something that's going to shut my office down? We had a hurricane that shut my office down for a week because we didn't have internet. Think about that. We are so dependent on technology now that if you don't have cable coming in with an internet signal, you're out of business for a week. Every business should use this catastrophic event to scrutinize every part of their business from top down. What works, what doesn't work, how do we get ready? We have a lockdown protocol for when we've got a hurricane coming to make our office safe. We're in a big office building on the 7th floor. What happens if windows blow out? So we have a protocol, and we can hurricane-proof our office right away. We have electronic backup of everything done in many functions. We were using regular telephone service. We switched to voice over internet as a result of this pandemic. We have some people working at home. So I just wanted to scream when I was seeing all these articles saying, well, people can work from home. Do you have any idea of the obstacles inherent in saying that flippantly? This is the infuriating thing about government officials that are getting their regular paycheck. Oh, we need to shut down and everyone can work from home. Are you sure? And so this is how you use a tragic event like we're going through now to make your business more resilient, to say, okay, I wasn't prepared to have people working remotely. As we've gone through this and you were forced to, or it became an option, we have some people working remotely for various reasons. It's been hard as heck to set up. We've had to switch to doing telephone consultations and video consultations. One of the things that I loved was a magazine called Fast Company. You probably remember it was about the dot-com boom, and one of the things they talked about businesses, theme after theme after theme. Be nimble, be nimble. How fast can you move? With a good disaster preparedness plan, you're going to be nimble because you're looking at your whole business thinking, what's the worst that can happen? And then you're resilient, you're able to bounce back. So for everybody that's going to survive through this in business, don't think this is the last time this sort of thing is going to happen to us. Assume we're going to get another one in February of next year. If it doesn't happen, hallelujah. If it does, you're going to go through it a lot smoother this time.
You think about all the effort and maybe millions of dollars, all the years of effort you've put into building your business. You know, like David said, let's sort of plan for hope for the best, plan for the worst. If we get another one of these down the road, make sure your business is prepared, because it will save you a lot of time and stress and money going forward if you're properly prepared. You think about all the ramifications. So get that consultation from Volk Law offices. So insurance companies, I've had a lot of experience with them myself over the years. And sort of they say, congratulations, you've got a policy. I like the way you say that on your website. One page, one sentence, congratulations, you're insured. And then there's 50 pages telling you how you're not insured, right?
Right, exactly.
So what are some of the tricks, if you will, that you tend to see?
Well, the exclusions from coverage are broadly written. Those insurance policies, just so you know, they're construed favorably towards the insured and against the insurance company because it's what's called a contract of adhesion. It's a take it or leave it contract. An insurance policy is a contract. You pay us money, we'll pay you in certain narrowly defined circumstances. So if you're a business owner and you're buying insurance, when you get that yearly policy, read through it. Read through it. Talk to your agent. Hey, am I covered if my business has to shut down? These agents are very helpful. They want to sell you insurance. They're going to tell you what does or doesn't get coverage. Take the policy in and say, I don't understand this paragraph, okay? And that's what they do for a living. They can be helpful to you. So when you buy the insurance, make sure you understand that you're covered for everything. Employee theft is generally not covered under under business policies. You might have to put a rider on for employee theft. So again, with your business, what's the worst that could happen? An embezzling employee. Are we covered? Ask your agent. No, you're not covered. That'll cost you another $200 a year. It's
well worth
it. Well worth it. I don't know if that's what it costs. But we have that coverage, and it's a rider to our policy. We've got different coverages for the things that can go wrong. Contracts, same thing. It's like insurance. You write your contracts saying what's the worst thing that could happen? What can go wrong in this deal? Giles, you're not going to believe this. People sometimes bring us a contract to have us explain it to them after they've signed it. Okay? Be careful. Go into things with your eyes open. Again, disaster planning, recovery, you're thinking worst case scenario. If you're going to do a deal, think what's the worst thing that could happen? Construction contracts are ordinarily not as clear as they should be. There's something called an AIA contract that has standard language. I address that in the website on the construction page of issues. There's something called force majeure that is in most well-drafted contracts. It says an act of God can relieve a party for performance to the extent the act of God has hindered performance. Performance means doing what you promised to do in the contract. Okay, does that mean you get off the hook completely? Maybe, maybe not, because courts have to construe that force majeure clause to say what is an excuse for not performing, what's not an excuse. And there's some vagueness in it, and I think now, if you're doing a construction contract, you're going to want to have language in there that says a pandemic caused by virological or biological agents is a force majeure event. It's not just tornadoes and hurricanes and a long list of things, it's that also. You're in the construction trade, guess what? We're going to get crushed here possibly by supply chain interruption. Buying a lot of goods from China. Every industry that's buying goods from outside of America or inside America is going to see supply chain disruption. They're going to get delays in delivery of goods. That's a material huge risk. Let's say you're a contractor, you got a standard contract, but you don't say anything about what happens if the price of the goods go up. What happens if drywall goes up 50%? If you haven't managed that risk in your construction contract, you go to your customer and say, hey, I'm going to have to jack up the price of your contract. Why? Well, drywall, haven't you been reading the news? It went up 50%. I don't care. You promised to build me my commercial building for $2 million. You're going to build it for $2 million.
Incredibly complex, all the different things. You can see David has such a passion for this. And we've dealt with lots of law firms over the years, and the Volk Law Office is very unusual in that they have these very diverse skills across all of their lawyers here, a big team here that can really help you. And it's really like seeing a doctor, if you will. You want to stay healthy, right? You see a doctor on a regular basis, you stay healthy, you get checkups. It's kind of like that, you know, get checked up and make sure you're healthy going forward and ready for that eventuality that may come down the road. So thinking about your community involvement, David, I know that's a big source of pleasure for you guys at the law firm. You do a lot in the community, don't you? Tell us about some of those things that you are involved with. Space Coast Economic Development Commission, I'm a board member there. We try and be active in the chambers of commerce, whether it's through leads groups or just going to the breakfasts. You learn so much going to a chamber of commerce breakfast. We had a L3 Harris presentation at the Melbourne Chamber recently before meetings had to stop. It was fascinating. If you get involved in these organizations, Melbourne Police Foundation, I was president of that for 3 years. If you get involved in these organizations, you're helping your community, you're building new friendships that could lead to business. You're helping your community, and it's always been a big mission of mine. Again, going back to my parents, my dad was in the Elks, the Eagles, the VFW, served in World War II. He got out in the community, he made acquaintances and friendships that were beneficial to their business. And you can do well while doing good. Do good for your community, it's going to help your business. Indeed. Well, you can see the passion coming through from David Volk. He really enjoys what he does, and he's assembled an incredible team of very highly skilled people from a diverse area of backgrounds. He's got a jet pilot, Harrier fighter pilot there. He's got a nuclear physics instructor from the Navy. And these are lawyers who bring their skills, but the thing with COVID now, it's really just painted a whole new picture on how business is run, and there's going to be more things to consider. So get that checkup from Volk Law offices and make sure you're ready and fully prepared. You wrote a book, David, The Personal Value Proposition. Tell us about that. Oh, I do blog posts. Okay. They're all on the website. I think there's 53 of them. I should turn it into a book. Okay.
There's definitely enough content in there for books.
Gotcha.
And instead of doing stuff that I thought would be boring as heck, I said, why don't I share blog posts that will help people be better at what they do? Mm-hmm. And the most recent is, do you need a job? That's in our website. You can go there. It's in the free resources section.
A lot of people do need jobs right now.
It's terrifying. And guess what? Being a business owner, you know from getting resumes, doing interviews, having employees, all too often the candidate focuses on what's in it for them. The employee focuses on what's in it for them. You want to get a job, you need to do what I did when I was trying to find a lawyer job in 1987. My cover letter said, we can have a mutually beneficial relationship. Here's what I'm going to do for you. I wanted a job. I wanted to make money doing commercial litigation. More importantly, they're going to hire me if they see that I'm bringing value to the table. So if you're trying to find a job right now, or if you have a job that you think is tenuous, make yourself valuable. How do you make yourself valuable? Think about your attributes. Do your own personal business plan and say, what am I good at? What makes me special? Why do I make this organization, this company, better? And if you think about life in terms of what you're giving, what you get grows inevitably.
A very interesting one. We have a lot of real estate friends who are real estate agents, things of that nature, closing agents, and that whole industry is being interrupted in many ways due to COVID. So let's say you know, I've got a contract. I've signed a contract to buy a house, and now I'm a little concerned about making sure that house is ready for me and fully safe for my family to move into. What sort of ramifications are there with that now?
Well, you're still on the hook, almost for sure, on your real estate contract. You can't walk away from it because you're nervous, okay? If your circumstances have changed, big deal. You signed a contract, you made promises. You try walking away from the deal, you're probably going to lose your deposit or otherwise get sued. And so what we have to understand is if you're already in a contract relationship with somebody, whether it's a lease or a contract to purchase or sell, you're stuck with that deal. I've always thought the smartest business people are the people that go to those they have a relationship with when they're encountering a problem. Don't just skip 3 months of rent and wait for the landlord to evict you or do the demand on you to pay rent or you're out. You've got a problem, go to somebody. Maybe it's a guy that's got 80 rental properties that he owns free and clear. Believe it or not, there are people in this community that are like that. You talk to them and you say, I've had some serious problems. Can you help me out through this?
Very good. Listen, folks, we're here today with David Volk, who is absolutely one of the leading firms here in the county. And if you are thinking about entering into a contract, you may be looking at buying a home, and if you just want to get ready for that next possible COVID coming around, you need to definitely get that consultation with David or one of his experts there, and it'll save you a lot of time in the future. David, as we close here today, what message do you have for folks about your law offices and why they should select you versus someone else?
Our clients are important to us. It's as simple as that. I have regular meetings with the lawyers saying, what are you focused on? Are you focused on doing tasks, or are you focused on getting an objective accomplished for the client? Don't think about doing this part of the lawsuit. Think about what the end result is that we're pursuing. Work towards that. Everything you do builds towards that. When we're working up a case for trial, every part of it is like the parts of a house or a commercial building. You're building something for the end result. What is the client's motivation? Go for it. There
it is. Go for it, but be prepared. And we have been really impressed with the Volk Law Office's service for us here at Space Coast Daily. And if you're thinking about looking to have a consultation, we would highly recommend you go see David or one of his fantastic partners down there. David, thanks so much for joining us today. And stay safe, everyone, and stay tuned as Steve Wilson and Orville Susong bring you more of that great action this afternoon out in Brevard County. Space Coast Daily is Brevard's most trusted news. Through spacecoastdaily.com and Space Coast Daily's social media reach, hundreds of thousands of people stay informed every day. Through Space Coast Daily's unmatched digital reach with the Space Coast Daily's direct mail newspaper and Space Coast Daily, the magazine in print, our loyal and engaged viewers enjoy free local news they can trust every day, and all at no charge thanks to our successful advertising clients, and also at our special events at Space Coast Daily Park in Vieira, where hundreds of thousands of people see our clients' advertisements. Call today to get your message seen on Space Coast Daily and take your business to new heights. Get launched with Space Coast Daily. Call 321-323-4460 today.